What type of lens, if concave, causes rays of light to diverge? Lens. A concave lens is a diverging lens, meaning that it spreads out parallel rays of light that pass through it. Concave lenses are thinner at the center than at the edges and are used to correct nearsightedness, myopia. What physical quantity is defined as the number of cycles of a vibration occurring per unit of time? Frequency. Frequency is a measure of how often a repeating event occurs, defined as the number of cycles per unit of time. It is typically measured in Hz, Hz, where 1 Hz equals 1 cycle per second. What is the product of an object's mass and its linear velocity? Momentum. Momentum, typically denoted by the symbol p, is the product of an object's mass, m, and its velocity, v. It is a vector quantity, possessing both magnitude and direction, and is a fundamental concept in physics, particularly in the study of collisions and conservation laws. Which type of quantity is characterized by both magnitude and direction? Vector quantity. A vector quantity is a physical quantity that has both a magnitude, size, and a direction. Examples include velocity, force, and displacement, distinguishing them from scalar quantities, which only have magnitude. What is the SI unit of magnetic flux density, named in honor of a Croatian electrical engineer? Tesla. The Tesla, T, is the SI-derived unit of magnetic flux density, also known as magnetic field strength, named after Nikola Tesla. 1 Tesla is equal to 1 Weber per square meter, Weber per square meter. What area of study does the science of cryogenics encompass? Very low temperature. Cryogenics involves the study of very low temperatures, generally below -150 degrees Celsius, -238 degrees Fahrenheit or 123 K, and their effects on materials and living organisms. It has applications in various fields including medicine, food preservation, and space exploration. What term is used to describe animals that consume both flesh and plant material? Omnivores. Omnivores are animals that have a diet consisting of both animal and plant matter. This dietary versatility allows them to thrive in a wide range of environments and ecological niches. Which digestive organ is highly developed in grass-eating herbivores but is vestigial in humans? Appendix. The appendix is a vestigial organ in humans, meaning it has lost its original function through evolution. In herbivores, particularly those that consume large amounts of plant matter, the appendix, or a homologous structure, is larger and plays a role in cellulose digestion. In which cellular organelle does photosynthesis occur? Chloroplast. Photosynthesis, the process by which plants convert light energy into chemical energy, takes place within the chloroplasts. These organelles contain chlorophyll, the pigment that absorbs sunlight. What is the term for the protective exterior layer of trees? Bark. Bark serves as a crucial protective layer for trees, shielding them from physical damage, insect infestations, and extreme weather conditions. It consists of several layers, including the outer bark, dead tissue, and the inner bark, living tissue. Which liquid is essential for plants to perform photosynthesis? Water. Water is a crucial reactant in the process of photosynthesis. Plants absorb water through their roots, which is then transported to the leaves where photosynthesis takes place. What type of organisms, growing as parasites and saprotrophs, lacking chlorophyll, and reproducing via spores are referred to by what name? Fungi. Fungi constitute a distinct kingdom of eukaryotic organisms. They are heterotrophic, meaning they obtain nutrients from organic matter, and reproduce primarily through spores. What is the primary function of gills in fish? To absorb oxygen. Gills are the respiratory organs of fish, designed to extract dissolved oxygen from water. The large surface area of the gills facilitates efficient gas exchange between the fish's blood and the surrounding water. What term designates the microscopic plants found abundantly in aquatic ecosystems such as rivers, lakes, and oceans? Algae. Algae are a diverse group of photosynthetic organisms that range from microscopic single-celled forms to large multicellular seaweeds. They play a vital role in aquatic food webs and contribute significantly to global oxygen production. What are the nocturnal, herding herbivores native to Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea? Kangaroos. Kangaroos are marsupials endemic to Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea. They are known for their powerful hind legs, used for leaping, and are primarily nocturnal herbivores that live in social groups called mobs. In which anatomical region of an animal would one find the mandible? Skull. The mandible, or lower jawbone, is a crucial component of the skull in vertebrates. It houses the lower teeth and is responsible for chewing and other oral functions. Which European tree species is known for its exceptional longevity? Yew. The yew tree, Taxus baccata, is a coniferous tree native to Europe and is known for its remarkable longevity, with some specimens living for thousands of years. It is associated with symbolism and often found in churchyards. Which plant tissue is responsible for transporting sugary sap throughout the plant? Phloem. Phloem is the vascular tissue in plants that conducts sugars and other metabolic products from the leaves, where they are produced by photosynthesis, to other parts of the plant. This process is crucial for plant growth and survival. Which type of cells comprises the middle layer of plant leaves? Mesophyll. Mesophyll cells are the primary photosynthetic cells found in the middle layer, mesophyll, of plant leaves. They contain chloroplasts, which are essential for converting sunlight into energy through photosynthesis. Which microscopic organisms form the foundation of marine and freshwater food chains? Plankton. Plankton are a diverse group of microscopic organisms, including phytoplankton, plants, and zooplankton, animals, that drift in oceans, seas, and bodies of fresh water. They form the base of aquatic food webs, supporting a vast array of marine life. What characteristic tongue does the okapi possess? Prehensile. Okapi tongues are prehensile, meaning they can be used to grasp or manipulate objects, aiding in their feeding habits by plucking leaves and buds from trees. Their long, flexible tongues are also used for grooming themselves, including cleaning their eyelids and ears. What constitutes the primary food source for baleen whales? Krill. Baleen whales, lacking teeth, filter feed using baleen plates. Their diet primarily consists of krill, small crustaceans that form dense swarms in ocean waters, providing a substantial energy source for these large marine mammals. Which South American vulture species is characterized by a wingspan reaching up to 3 meters and a body weight of approximately 13 kilograms? Condor. The Andean condor, Vultur gryphus, is the largest flying bird in the world by combined measurement of weight and wingspan. It plays an essential role in its ecosystem by scavenging carrion. Which anatomical structure of a beetle functions as an exoskeleton? The outside. Beetles, belonging to the order Coleoptera, possess an exoskeleton made of chitin. This external skeleton provides protection and support. What are the structures responsible for facilitating gas exchange in plant leaves called? Stomata. Stomata are microscopic pores found on the surface of leaves, primarily on the underside. They regulate the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, essential for photosynthesis and respiration, respectively. In what state of motility is a sessile animal typically found? Stationary. A sessile animal is one that is permanently attached to a surface and does not move freely. This lifestyle is observed in various marine invertebrates like sponges and barnacles. Which plant subdivision derives its name from the characteristic of producing naked seeds? Gymnosperms. Gymnosperms, including conifers and sea cycads, are characterized by their ovules and subsequent seeds not being enclosed within an ovary. This contrasts with angiosperms, which have enclosed seeds within fruits. The maidenhair tree represents the sole surviving member of which plant class? Ginkgo. The ginkgo biloba is the only extant species in the division Ginkgophyta. It is considered a living fossil due to its ancient lineage. What is the term for the state of dormancy experienced by certain organisms during the dry, summer season, analogous to hibernation during winter? Estivation. Estivation is a period of dormancy or inactivity undertaken by some animals during hot and dry periods. It helps them conserve energy and avoid adverse environmental conditions. The larvae of which insect species secrete frothy masses commonly known as cuckoo speech. Froghopper, spittlebug. Froghopper larvae, also known as spittlebugs, produce a foamy substance referred to as cuckoo speech. This frothy mass protects them from predators and desiccation. What kind of creature is a scorpion? Arachnid. Scorpions belong to the class Arachnida, which also includes spiders, mites, and ticks. Arachnids are characterized by having 8 legs and 2 body segments, cephalothorax and abdomen. Which part of the common valerian is used to make a sedative? Root. The root of the valerian plant, Valeriana officinalis, has been traditionally used for its sedative and anxiolytic properties. It is often used as a natural remedy for sleep disorders and anxiety. What is the name of the structures which allow stems to breathe? Lenticels. Lenticels are small, raised pores on the stems and roots of woody plants that facilitate gas exchange between the internal tissues and the atmosphere. They allow for the diffusion of oxygen into the plant and carbon dioxide out of it. Which acid is contained in rhubarb leaves, making them poisonous to eat? Oxalic acid. Rhubarb leaves contain high concentrations of oxalic acid, a toxic compound that can cause kidney damage, nausea, and vomiting if ingested. Only the stalks of rhubarb are safe to eat. What kind of organism causes a rust attack on plants? Fungus. Rust diseases in plants are caused by various species of fungi belonging to the order Perennials. These fungi are obligate parasites, meaning they require a living host to survive and reproduce, often causing significant agricultural losses. Which is the dominant generation in the ferns? Sporophyte. In ferns, the sporophyte generation is the dominant and conspicuous phase of the life cycle. The sporophyte is diploid and produces spores through meiosis, which then germinate to form the gametophyte. Which is the biggest flower in the world? Rafflesia arnoldi. Rafflesia arnoldi, also known as the corpse flower, produces the largest individual flower on earth. It is a parasitic plant found in Southeast Asia, known for its enormous size and strong, unpleasant odor resembling decaying flesh. What is the name of the lustrous substance that forms pearl and mother of pearl? Nacre. Nacre, also known as mother of pearl, is a composite material produced by some mollusks as an inner shell layer and also as the material of which pearls are composed. It is characterized by its iridescent appearance due to its layered structure. What is the name of the so-called first bird? Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is considered a transitional fossil between dinosaurs and modern birds. It lived during the late Jurassic period and possessed features of both reptiles and birds, such as feathers, wings, and teeth. What is the Latin word for liquid, which we use to mean the fluid produced by the tree Ficus elastica? Latex. The term latex is derived from the Latin word for liquid. It refers to the milky fluid produced by various plants, including the rubber tree, Ficus elastica, and is composed of a suspension of particles in an aqueous medium. What is the primary application of the citrus bergamot tree? Perfume. Citrus bergamot, also known as the bergamot orange, is cultivated mainly in Italy for its essential oil. The oil, extracted from the peel, is widely used in the perfume industry for its distinctive fragrance, adding a citrusy top note to many perfumes. Which physician pioneered a therapeutic approach using wildflowers? Bach. Dr. Edward Bach was a British bacteriologist, physician, and pathologist who developed Bach flower remedies. This alternative medicine system utilizes dilutions of wildflowers, believing they can address emotional imbalances and promote healing. From which type of wood were the finest longbows traditionally crafted? Yew. Yew wood was highly prized for crafting longbows due to its unique properties of elasticity and compression strength. The heartwood provides the compressive strength on the inside of the bow, while the sapwood provides elasticity on the outside. How many distinct species of domesticated dog are recognized today? 1. Domestic dogs, Canis lupus familiaris, are all considered a single species, despite their vast morphological diversity. This classification indicates a common ancestry with the grey wolf, Canis lupus, and a relatively recent divergence through selective breeding. To which group of organisms does a barnacle belong? A crustacean. Barnacles are marine crustaceans belonging to the infraclass Cirripedia. They are characterized by their sessile lifestyle, attaching themselves to hard surfaces and filtering food from the water column using specialized appendages called cirri. What is the term for the evolutionary theory proposing that evolution proceeds at an irregular rate? Punctuated equilibrium. Punctuated equilibrium, proposed by Stephen Jay Gould and Niles Eldredge, suggests that evolution is characterized by long periods of stasis, equilibrium, punctuated by short bursts of rapid change. This contrasts with the gradualism theory, which posits a steady, continuous rate of evolutionary change. Which stage of photosynthesis is responsible for the photolysis of water molecules? Light reaction. The light-dependent reactions of photosynthesis involve the splitting of water molecules, photolysis, to produce electrons, protons, and oxygen. This process occurs in the thylakoid membranes of chloroplasts and is essential for providing the electrons needed to drive the electron transport chain and ultimately produce ATP and NADPH. Which type of organisms is most likely to exhibit taxis? Protozoa. Taxis is a directed movement of an organism or cell in response to a stimulus. Protozoa, being unicellular organisms, often exhibit taxis as a means of locomotion towards favorable conditions, e.g., nutrients, or away from unfavorable ones, e.g., toxins. Which region of the brain plays a crucial role in regulating physiological stability within the body? Hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, a small region of the brain, is essential for maintaining homeostasis. It regulates various physiological functions including body temperature, hunger, thirst, sleep-wake cycles, and hormone release through its control over the pituitary gland. Which organ is responsible for regulating the blood sugar level? Pancreas. The pancreas is a vital organ responsible for producing insulin and glucagon. These hormones regulate blood glucose levels, maintaining homeostasis in the body and preventing conditions like diabetes. What is the scientific name for the human tailbone? Coccyx. The coccyx, or tailbone, is the final segment of the vertebral column in humans and great apes. It is a vestigial structure representing a reduced tail and serves as an attachment point for various ligaments and muscles. Under what circumstances might a person exhibit rapid eye movement, REM? During sleep. Rapid eye movement, REM, sleep is a stage of sleep characterized by rapid eye movements, increased brain activity, and muscle relaxation. It is typically associated with dreaming and is crucial for cognitive functions like memory consolidation. Which organ is responsible for removing excess water from the blood? Kidney. The kidneys are essential organs that filter waste products and excess water from the blood, producing urine. This process maintains fluid balance, electrolyte levels, and blood pressure in the body. Which is the most acidic region of the digestive system? Stomach. The stomach is the most acidic part of the digestive system due to the presence of hydrochloric acid, HCl. This acidic environment aids in the breakdown of food and the activation of digestive enzymes like pepsin. A deficiency of which vitamin can result in scurvy? Vitamin C. Scurvy is a disease caused by a deficiency in vitamin C, ascorbic acid. Vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, and its deficiency leads to symptoms like bleeding gums, bruising, and impaired wound healing. What is the average normal human body temperature when measured sublingually with a thermometer? 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The average normal human body temperature, when measured sublingually, is approximately 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit, 36.9 degrees Celsius. However, normal body temperature can vary slightly depending on individual factors and measurement methods. What are the two primary veins in the neck that return blood from the brain to the heart? Jugular veins. The jugular veins are two major veins in the neck, the internal and external jugular veins, that drain blood from the brain, face, and neck. They transport deoxygenated blood back to the heart for oxygenation. What is the term for a series of involuntary contractions of the diaphragm causing sudden intakes of air? Hiccups. Hiccups are involuntary spasms of the diaphragm, a muscle at the base of the chest. These spasms cause sudden intakes of air, which are abruptly stopped by the closure of the vocal cords, producing the characteristic hic sound. Which part of the eye contains approximately 137 million light-sensitive cells per square inch? Retina. The retina, located at the back of the eye, contains approximately 137 million photoreceptor cells, rods and cones, per square inch. These cells are responsible for converting light into electrical signals that are sent to the brain for visual processing. What is the more common name for the tympanic membrane? Eardrum. The tympanic membrane, commonly known as the eardrum, is a thin, cone-shaped membrane located in the middle ear that vibrates in response to sound waves. This vibration transmits sound energy to the ossicles, facilitating hearing. What is the scientific name for a red blood cell? Erythrocyte. Erythrocytes, or red blood cells, are the most common type of blood cell and are responsible for transporting oxygen from the lungs to the body's tissues. They contain hemoglobin, a protein that binds to oxygen. What is the scientific name for the windpipe? Trachea. The trachea, or windpipe, is a cartilaginous tube that connects the larynx to the bronchi of the lungs, allowing the passage of air to the lungs for respiration. Its rigid structure prevents collapse during breathing. Where do the Graafian follicles develop? Ovaries. Graafian follicles, also known as mature ovarian follicles, are structures within the ovaries that contain a developing oocyte. These follicles produce estrogen and eventually rupture to release the oocyte during ovulation. Where would you find the pisiform bone? Wrist. The pisiform bone is a small, pea-shaped carpal bone located in the wrist, specifically in the proximal row. It articulates with the trichotrum and serves as an attachment point for tendons and ligaments. What is the scientific name for the kneecap? Patella. The patella, commonly known as the kneecap, is a sesamoid bone located within the tendon of the quadriceps femoris muscle. It protects the knee joint and improves the leverage of the quadriceps muscle during knee extension. What is protected by the cranium? Brain. The cranium, or skull, is a bony structure that encloses and protects the brain from physical trauma. It is composed of several fused bones that provide a rigid and protective framework. What is the name of the large muscle just beneath the lungs? Diaphragm. The diaphragm is a large, dome-shaped muscle located at the base of the thoracic cavity, separating the chest from the abdomen. It is the primary muscle responsible for breathing, contracting to expand the chest cavity during inhalation. Where in the body is the thyroid? The neck. The thyroid gland is a butterfly-shaped endocrine gland located in the front of the neck, below the larynx. It produces hormones, primarily thyroxine, T4, and triiodothyronine, T3, which regulate metabolism, growth, and development. Which organ in the body stores excess sugar as glycogen? Liver. The liver is the primary organ responsible for storing excess glucose as glycogen through a process called glycogenesis. When blood sugar levels drop, the liver breaks down glycogen back into glucose and releases it into the bloodstream, maintaining glucose homeostasis. What term is used to describe the small bones that constitute the spinal column? Vertebrae. Vertebrae are the individual, interlocking bones that form the spinal column, providing support and protecting the spinal cord. Each vertebra is separated by intervertebral discs, which act as shock absorbers. In which region of the human body are the cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and hypothalamus located? Brain. The cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and hypothalamus are key components of the brain. The cerebellum is important for motor control, the medulla oblongata regulates vital functions like breathing and heart rate, and the hypothalamus controls body temperature, hunger, and thirst. What substance constitutes approximately 60 to 70% of human body weight? Water. Water is the most abundant molecule in the human body, comprising 60 to 70% of total body weight. It is essential for various physiological processes, including nutrient transport, temperature regulation, and waste removal. What is the term for the minute blood vessels that create a network connecting arteries and veins? Capillaries. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels in the body, forming a network that connects arteries and veins. They facilitate the exchange of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nutrients between the blood and surrounding tissues. What is the name of the membrane that encloses the amniotic fluid surrounding the fetus? Amnion, amniotic membrane. The amnion, also known as the amniotic membrane, is a sac that surrounds the fetus during pregnancy, filled with amniotic fluid. It protects the fetus, regulates temperature, and allows for movement. What is the anatomical term for the ring of bones located at the hip? Pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle is a bony structure formed by the hip bones, sacrum, and coccyx, connecting the lower limbs to the axial skeleton. It provides support for the trunk and protects the pelvic organs. Which tubular structure connects the kidney to the urinary bladder? Ureter. The ureter is a tube that carries urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. Each kidney has a corresponding ureter, which transports waste products filtered by the kidneys for storage and eventual elimination. What is the name of the structural tissue found in the ear, nose, and between vertebral discs? Cartilage. Cartilage is a flexible connective tissue found in various parts of the body, including the ear, nose, and intervertebral discs. It provides support and cushioning, allowing for smooth movement and flexibility. Which artery supplies the kidney with blood? Renal artery. The renal artery is a blood vessel that carries oxygenated blood from the aorta to the kidneys. Each kidney receives blood from a dedicated renal artery, ensuring proper filtration and waste removal. Which three bones are collectively known as the auditory ossicles? Malleus, incus, stapes. The malleus, hammer, incus, anvil, and stapes, stirrup, are the three smallest bones in the human body, located in the middle ear. They form a chain that transmits sound vibrations from the eardrum to the inner ear. How many ventricles are there in the human heart? 2. The human heart contains two ventricles, the left ventricle, which pumps oxygenated blood to the body, and the right ventricle, which pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Understanding the heart's anatomy is crucial for comprehending circulatory system functions. What is the scientific name for the tube connecting the mouth with the stomach? Esophagus. The esophagus, also known as the gullet, is the muscular tube that transports food and liquids from the pharynx to the stomach. Its primary function is to facilitate swallowing. Which parts of the body are formed by the bones of the metatarsals and phalanges? Feet. The metatarsals form the arch of the foot, while the phalanges are the bones of the toes. Knowledge of skeletal structure is important in anatomy. What is the fluid that lubricates and cushions the movable joints between the bones? Synovial fluid. Synovial fluid reduces friction between articular cartilage during movement. This fluid is essential for joint health and mobility. What is the oxygen-carrying protein found in the red blood cells of the body? Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the iron-containing protein in red blood cells that binds to oxygen for transport throughout the body. Its structure allows for efficient oxygen uptake in the lungs and delivery to tissues. What are the chemicals produced by the endocrine glands to control body functions? Hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers secreted by endocrine glands into the bloodstream, regulating various physiological processes, including metabolism, growth, and reproduction. Understanding hormonal imbalances is important in medicine. Where in the human body do you find the alveoli? Lung. Alveoli are tiny air sacs within the lungs where gas exchange occurs between air and blood. They provide a large surface area for efficient oxygen uptake and carbon dioxide removal. What name is given to the genetic makeup of an individual? Genotype. The genotype refers to the genetic constitution of an individual, encompassing the specific alleles inherited for various traits. It interacts with environmental factors to determine the phenotype. A bone is joined to a muscle by which structure? Tendon. Tendons are tough, fibrous connective tissues that connect muscles to bones, enabling movement by transmitting the force generated by muscle contraction. Understanding the musculoskeletal system involves knowing the role of tendons. What is the biggest bone in the body? Femur. The femur, also known as the thigh bone, is the longest and strongest bone in the human body. It extends from the hip to the knee and plays a vital role in weight bearing and locomotion. Which of the retina's cells can distinguish between different wavelengths of light? Cone cells. Cone cells in the retina are photoreceptor cells responsible for color vision. They function best in bright light and allow humans to perceive a wide spectrum of colors by detecting different wavelengths of light. Which hormone is primarily responsible for male sexual development? Testosterone. Testosterone is the primary sex hormone in males and is crucial for the development of male reproductive tissues, such as the testes and prostate, as well as promoting secondary sexual characteristics like increased muscle and bone mass, and the growth of body hair. Which part of the brain controls the heart rate? Medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata, located in the brainstem, is responsible for regulating vital autonomic functions including heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure. It acts as the control center for cardiovascular and respiratory systems. What is the term for an overgrowth of fibrous tissue, typically occurring at the site of a scar? Keloid. A keloid is a type of scar that results from an overgrowth of collagen at the site of a skin injury. It extends beyond the boundaries of the original wound and can be raised, thick, and discolored. Which is the only vein in the human body that carries oxygenated blood? Pulmonary vein. The pulmonary vein is the unique vein in the human body that carries oxygenated blood. It transports oxygen-rich blood from the lungs back to the left atrium of the heart, differing from other veins that typically carry deoxygenated blood. Which human body organ weighs approximately 2 kilograms? Liver. The liver is the largest internal organ in the human body, weighing approximately 2 kilograms in adults. It performs a multitude of essential functions, including detoxification, protein synthesis, and the production of biochemicals necessary for digestion. What term is given to the heart chamber that receives blood? Atrium. The atrium is one of the two upper chambers of the heart responsible for receiving blood returning from the body, right atrium, and the lungs, left atrium. They then pump blood into the ventricles, the lower chambers, for circulation. What type of joint is the hip joint? Ball and socket. The hip joint is classified as a ball and socket joint, allowing for a wide range of motion. The ball-shaped head of the femur fits into the cup-shaped acetabulum of the pelvis, enabling movement in multiple planes. Where is the sinoatrial node located? Heart. The sinoatrial (SA) node, often referred to as the heart's natural pacemaker, is located in the right atrium of the heart. It initiates the electrical impulses that control heart rate and rhythm. What substance is overproduced by the body during an allergic reaction to pollen? Histamine. Histamine is a chemical released by the body during an allergic reaction. It causes symptoms such as itching, sneezing, and runny nose. Antihistamines are often used to counteract these effects. Which organ in the body secretes insulin? Pancreas. The pancreas is a vital organ responsible for producing insulin, a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels. Insulin enables cells to absorb glucose from the bloodstream, providing energy. Which part of the digestive system absorbs water from food? Colon. The colon, also known as the large intestine, is the primary site for water absorption in the digestive system. This process is crucial for solidifying waste and maintaining hydration. Where are the islets of Langerhans located? Pancreas. The islets of Langerhans are clusters of endocrine cells within the pancreas. They are responsible for producing hormones like insulin and glucagon, which regulate blood glucose levels. What is the name of the colored muscle that responds involuntarily to light? Iris. The iris is the colored part of the eye and it contains muscles that control the size of the pupil. This involuntary response regulates the amount of light entering the eye. What is the name of the enzyme produced in the mouth? Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase, also known as ptyalin, is an enzyme produced in the mouth that initiates the breakdown of carbohydrates. This is the first step in the digestive process. The pituitary gland controls many hormones, but what controls the pituitary gland? Hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is a region of the brain that controls the pituitary gland. It acts as a link between the nervous and endocrine systems by releasing hormones that regulate pituitary function. What pigment colors skin? Melanin. Melanin is a pigment produced by melanocytes in the skin that determines skin color. It also protects the skin from damage caused by ultraviolet radiation. Which tissue secretes progesterone during the second half of the menstrual cycle? Corpus luteum. The corpus luteum, which develops from the ovarian follicle after ovulation, secretes progesterone. Progesterone prepares the uterine lining for implantation of a fertilized egg. Which gland secretes corticosteroids? Adrenal. The adrenal glands, located above the kidneys, secrete corticosteroids. These hormones play a vital role in regulating metabolism, immune response, and stress response. What are the naturally occurring pain-killing substances produced in the brain and pituitary gland? Endorphins. Endorphins are endogenous opioid neuropeptides and peptide hormones produced and stored in the brain and pituitary gland. They are released in response to stress or pain, acting as natural analgesics. What is the primary function of the islets of Langerhans? They secrete insulin. The islets of Langerhans are regions of the pancreas that contain endocrine cells. These cells, including beta cells, are responsible for secreting insulin, a hormone crucial for regulating blood glucose levels. Which hormone was discovered by John Jacob Abel? Adrenaline. John Jacob Abel, an American biochemist and pharmacologist, is credited with isolating adrenaline, epinephrine, in a relatively pure form. Adrenaline is a hormone secreted by the adrenal medulla, playing a key role in the body's fight or flight response. What substance, produced by strenuous exercise and oxygen debt, causes stiffness in muscles? Lactic acid. Lactic acid is produced during anaerobic respiration when oxygen supply is insufficient during intense physical activity. Its accumulation in muscles contributes to muscle fatigue and stiffness. Where are the carotid arteries located? Neck. The carotid arteries are major blood vessels located in the neck. They supply blood to the brain, face, and scalp and are essential for cerebral circulation. Which protein is the primary structural component of hair and nails? Keratin. Keratin is a fibrous structural protein that provides strength and resilience to hair, nails, and the outer layer of skin, epidermis. It is a key component of epithelial cells and protects against damage. Which gas, released by vehicle exhaust, inhibits the proper function of blood hemoglobin? Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, CO, is a toxic gas produced by incomplete combustion. It binds to hemoglobin in red blood cells more readily than oxygen, preventing oxygen transport and leading to hypoxia. What device is integrated into a vehicle's exhaust system to mitigate pollution? Catalytic converter. A catalytic converter is an emission control device that reduces the toxicity of pollutants in exhaust gas from an internal combustion engine. It uses catalysts to convert harmful gases like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and hydrocarbons into less harmful substances like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and water. Which Australian mammal is known for laying eggs? Duck-billed platypus. The duck-billed platypus, Ornithorhynchus anatinus, is a semi-aquatic mammal endemic to eastern Australia. It is one of the few monotremes, mammals that lay eggs instead of giving birth to live young. What term describes a substance that decomposes naturally through biological processes? Biodegradable. Biodegradable refers to substances that can be broken down into simpler, harmless compounds by bacteria, fungi, or other biological means. This process is essential for natural recycling and reducing environmental pollution. What is the most abundant gas in the Earth's atmosphere? Nitrogen. Nitrogen comprises approximately 78% of the Earth's atmosphere, making it crucial for plant growth and various industrial processes. Its inertness also dilutes oxygen, preventing rapid combustion. Which fuel is formed through the fossilization of plant matter? Coal. Coal is a fossil fuel formed over millions of years from accumulated plant material subjected to high pressure and temperature. It's a significant energy source but contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. What percentage of the Earth's atmosphere is composed of oxygen? Approximately 20%. Oxygen constitutes about 21% of the Earth's atmosphere and is essential for respiration in most living organisms. It also plays a crucial role in combustion and various chemical reactions. Which type of tide occurs during a full moon? Spring tide. Spring tides occur during both full and new moons when the gravitational forces of the sun and moon align, resulting in higher high tides and lower low tides. This alignment creates a stronger tidal force. What is the scientific study of weather called? Meteorology. Meteorology is the interdisciplinary scientific study of the atmosphere that focuses on weather processes and forecasting. It uses physics, chemistry, and mathematics to understand and predict atmospheric phenomena. What is the name of the Earth's outermost layer? Crust. The Earth's crust is the outermost solid layer, composed of various rock types and ranging in thickness from about 5 km under the oceans to over 70 km under continents. It is divided into tectonic plates that interact, causing earthquakes and volcanic activity. Which country generates the largest amount of municipal waste per capita annually? USA. The United States generates a significant amount of municipal solid waste per person annually, posing challenges for waste management and environmental sustainability. Efforts are being made to reduce waste through recycling and other initiatives. What is the largest national park in Europe? Hohe Tauern National Park in Austria. Hohe Tauern National Park is the largest national park in Europe, encompassing a diverse alpine landscape and important ecosystems. It plays a crucial role in biodiversity conservation and sustainable tourism, which was the focus of the Barcelona Convention, 1976, due to high pollution levels. Mediterranean Sea. The Barcelona Convention was established to address pollution issues in the Mediterranean Sea, which faces threats from industrial waste, sewage, and agricultural runoff. This highlights the importance of international cooperation in protecting marine environments. What is the scientific scale for measuring the hardness of rocks? Mohs scale. The Mohs scale of mineral hardness is a qualitative ordinal scale characterizing scratch resistance of various minerals through the ability of a harder material to scratch a softer material. It ranges from 1, talc, to 10, diamond. What is the world's smallest continent? Australia. Australia is the smallest continent, both in land area and population. It is located in Oceania, surrounded by the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Which gas constitutes approximately 1% of the Earth's atmosphere? Argon. Argon is a noble gas and makes up about 1% of the Earth's atmosphere, making it the third most abundant gas in the atmosphere. It is used in lighting, welding, and other industrial applications. What term is used to describe energy obtained from hot, underground rocks? Geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is heat derived from the Earth's interior. This energy can be harnessed for electricity generation and direct use applications like heating and cooling. What is the name given to the rocks swallowed by dinosaurs to assist their digestion? Gastroliths. Gastroliths are stones swallowed by dinosaurs, and some other animals, to aid in the grinding of food within the digestive tract. These stones can be identified in fossil records and provide insight into the diets of extinct animals. Which animal has been hunted almost to extinction due to its horn? Rhinoceros. Rhinoceroses have been heavily poached for their horns, which are highly valued in traditional medicine and as ornamental objects in some cultures. This demand has led to severe population declines and the threat of extinction for several rhino species. Which chemical, commonly used to increase crop yield, sometimes contaminates drinking water? Nitrate. Nitrates are widely used as fertilizer in agriculture to promote plant growth. However, excessive use can lead to nitrate runoff into water sources, contaminating drinking water and posing health risks, especially to infants. Where is the Glacier Bay National Park located? Southeast Alaska. Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve is located in southeast Alaska, encompassing a vast area of glaciers, mountains, and coastline. It is a popular destination for ecotourism and scientific research. When recycling a beverage can, which metal is being recovered? Aluminum. Aluminum is the metal recovered when recycling beverage cans. Recycling aluminum requires significantly less energy than producing new aluminum from raw materials, making it environmentally beneficial. What is the Earth's core primarily composed of? Molten iron and nickel. The Earth's core is primarily composed of iron and nickel. The outer core is liquid, generating the Earth's magnetic field, while the inner core is solid due to immense pressure. What is the nomenclature for molten rock expelled from a volcano? Lava. Lava is molten rock expelled by a volcano during an eruption. It is formed from magma in the interior of the Earth and can range in temperature from 700 to 1200 degrees Celsius. What term describes the methodology of compiling weather predictions from a network of observation posts? Synoptic forecasting. Synoptic forecasting involves collecting and analyzing weather data from various sources, such as weather stations, satellites, and radar, to create a comprehensive picture of atmospheric conditions. This method is essential for predicting large-scale weather patterns. Which natural geographic feature exhibits the characteristic of meandering? A river. Meandering refers to the winding, curving path of a river, typically across a floodplain. This occurs due to erosion and deposition processes over time, shaping the river's course. What is the encompassing term for forms of atmospheric moisture such as rain, hail, snow, and sleet? Precipitation. Precipitation encompasses all forms of water that fall from the atmosphere to the Earth's surface, including rain, snow, sleet, and hail. It is a crucial part of the water cycle, transferring water from the atmosphere to the land and oceans. What naturally occurring substance possesses the highest known hardness? Diamond. Diamond is an allotrope of carbon with a unique crystal structure that gives it exceptional hardness, making it the hardest naturally occurring substance on Earth. It is widely used in industrial applications such as cutting and drilling. Identify the three principal greenhouse gases contributing to global warming. Carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons. Carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, CH4, and chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, are major greenhouse gases that trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, contributing to global warming and climate change. Their increased concentrations are largely due to human activities. An expert in tectonics would likely specialize in which scientific domain? Movement of continental plates. Tectonics is the study of the Earth's structure, specifically the movement and deformation of the lithosphere, which includes continental plates. It explains phenomena like earthquakes, volcanic activity, and mountain formation. What common mineral is formed by the fossilization of vegetation? Coal. Coal is a combustible black or brownish-black sedimentary rock with a high amount of carbon and hydrocarbons. It is primarily formed from the preserved plant remains that have been subjected to heat and pressure over millions of years. Which theory compares the Earth to a living organism? Gaia hypothesis. The Gaia hypothesis, proposed by James Lovelock, suggests that the Earth functions as a self-regulating system where living organisms interact with their inorganic surroundings to maintain conditions conducive to life. This concept views the planet as a single, interconnected entity. In which part of the atmosphere is the ozone layer located? Stratosphere. The ozone layer is a region within the stratosphere, located approximately 15 to 35 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It contains high concentrations of ozone, O3, and absorbs most of the sun's harmful ultraviolet, UV, radiation. Where are you likely to encounter a lac collet? In igneous rock. A lac collet is a dome-shaped intrusion of igneous rock that has pushed its way between layers of sedimentary rock. They are typically found within regions characterized by volcanic activity and underlying sedimentary formations. Which Indian state is situated at the easternmost extent of the Himalayas? Assam. Assam, located in northeast India, is geographically positioned at the eastern end of the Himalayan mountain range. The state's terrain is characterized by the Brahmaputra River Valley and the foothills of the Himalayas. What is the name of the atmospheric gas that shields the Earth from the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation? Ozone. Ozone, O3, is a vital atmospheric gas that absorbs a significant portion of the sun's harmful ultraviolet, UV, radiation, preventing it from reaching the Earth's surface. This protective layer is primarily concentrated in the stratosphere. What is the world's deepest ocean? Pacific. The Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest of Earth's oceanic divisions. It contains the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest known point in the world. Which is the largest animal ever to have inhabited the Earth? Blue whale. The blue whale, Balanoptera musculus, is the largest animal on Earth. This marine mammal is characterized by its massive size and filter feeding habits. What once covered 14% of the Earth's land area, but by 1991 over half had been destroyed? Rainforest. Rainforests are dense, warm, wet forests that play a crucial role in global ecology and biodiversity. Deforestation for agriculture, logging, and other development activities has led to significant habitat loss. Which inland sea, located between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, is rapidly disappearing due to the diversion and damming of its feeder rivers? Aral Sea. The Aral Sea, once one of the world's largest inland seas, has shrunk dramatically since the 1960s due to Soviet-era irrigation projects that diverted water from its primary sources, the Amur Darya and Sir Darya rivers. The environmental consequences have been severe. In which country is the damaged Chernobyl nuclear power station located? Ukraine. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant is located in northern Ukraine, near the border with Belarus. The Chernobyl disaster in 1986 was a catastrophic nuclear accident that released substantial radioactive contamination into the atmosphere. What is the classification of granite as a rock type? Igneous. Granite is a coarse-grained intrusive igneous rock that is formed from the slow cooling of magma below the Earth's surface. Its composition typically includes quartz, feldspar, and mica. What is the classification of basalt as a rock type? Igneous. Basalt is a fine-grained extrusive igneous rock formed from the rapid cooling of lava on the Earth's surface. It is the most common rock type in the Earth's crust. What is the primary constituent of natural gas? Methane. Methane, CH4, is the primary component of natural gas, a fossil fuel used for energy production. It is a potent greenhouse gas. Which layer of the Earth's atmosphere is responsible for reflecting radio waves? Ionosphere. The ionosphere, a layer of Earth's upper atmosphere, contains ionized gases that reflect radio waves, enabling long-distance communication. The ionosphere extends from about 60 kilometers to 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Which gas constitutes approximately 80% of the Earth's atmosphere? Nitrogen. Nitrogen, N2, is the most abundant gas in Earth's atmosphere, making up approximately 78%. It is essential for plant growth and is a key component of proteins and nucleic acids. In which mountain range is Mount Everest situated? Himalayas. Mount Everest, the world's highest peak, is located in the Himalayas, a mountain range that separates the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan Plateau. The Himalayas are a relatively young mountain range formed by the collision of the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates. What is the collective term for substances such as coal, oil, and natural gas, the combustion of which produces carbon dioxide? Fossil fuel. Fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas, are formed from the remains of ancient organisms and are a major source of energy. Burning these fuels releases carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change.